Welcome to 3D Learning. Topic is sports. This is video 6, and this is preparing a flipped learning class for debate about rescue and risk. Who pays for misadventure? In the first graphic, students will make statements about the main topic they chose earlier. The main topic, you should have had 1 point, and maybe you need to change it, but everything is changeable. So choose the topic, and when you go through this graphic, can you make statements to support this topic or oppose this topic? 1 point. If you did it before, just copy it and make it. So the sample is in the book, and make one statement for each person, not one copy of the book. Everybody has the book. One statement for each person. Now that's important, and sometimes making statements from your topic can be difficult. Change your topic so that you can get your 5 or whatever number of people in your team. Make sure that each person can have their own. There are 3 in the book. They're just samples, and if you try to use them, use them. If you can find opposing arguments, great. But if you have more than 3 people in your team, you need to have more. So it's like the sample is there, maybe too small. You need to be creative and make your own. So you have information already from your paragraphs. You made a rebuttal paragraph so that you have some opposition points already. Use all that information to do this exercise. This is important because you are a team, and everything has to be coordinated together. All your information should be together. You can't have one person doing this, arguing this, and another one doing that, and they are not connected. You have to connect all your information. Each argument has to be focused on the topic that you made. So now is when we start thinking about the statements, building opposing ideas, doing a little research, and remember, information is always changeable. So in discussion, we have question and answer. That's discussion. Debate is about facts and statements. So the question is, who should pay for risky adventure emergencies which are inevitable? And if you looked at level 3, I think you probably discussed that already. So you have information. Answer, adventures with risk are on the rise, and so try to, everybody finish this sentence. Finish it. Give a good answer. Come to class with different answers from every person. Don't just copy everybody's answer. Think for yourself. Risky adventures is the topic I chose. You can choose a different topic. It's one of the key ideas and general enough to use for discussion. If it's too, how should I say, if the idea is too narrow, it's really hard to find information. So you want a broad enough topic so that it's easy to find information. If you can find information, discussion is easy. Understanding the idea of risk and how we use it today allows development of the topic from the past to the present. And that's very important. Why do we risk? What kinds of risk? What are inhibitors? What blocks us from risk? That's maybe, the opposite is maybe harder. Why don't we risk? Why do we risk? Which one is easier to defend? When you develop an argument, it needs to transcend time. So if your idea is past, present, future, it's not too focused on one, the story is focused on one risk. But risk in sport is a really big topic, and it's not just new, it's an old idea, and it's today's idea, it's a future idea. Is it getting worse? Are more people doing it? If the cost is going up? Lots of ideas you can generate, but you have to make sure your topic is big enough, but only one topic. Be careful. In the graphic, this will help you understand the relationship. A sample has been started, and you fill the rest in as a team works on this topic. Now you can work as a team to fill this all out. You need to talk, but you need to have your own ideas. Fill it in for you, come to class, and see what other people have done. If you come together, and everybody should have different ideas. Remember, everybody has their own statement. So your statement, and then down, 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 you can talk about that, but each statement, every opposing statement should be different. Each statement should be different, opposing should be different, because they're different topics. The same idea, but different topics. And so get together and find your key talking points. And what's the core point? Who should pay for the rescue? But you need that core point. And then you can expand it. Who should pay for the rescue? The second row, the opposing team will state their against. The third, team A will say, we disagree with that statement because, and give a little bit. You have 1 minute. So you want to start practicing, and then give your own statement and reasons. Why would you disagree with something? Give some support for that. Where did you find that information? Remember, the story even says people praised and people complained. So there is information. You have to find it. If you make it on a blank sheet of paper, it's easy to have lots of space. Everybody has one argument. They have one blank piece of paper. So that's where we start. You're starting to. You had your categories. Each person had a category. Now each one is building a statement under that category. Keep that together. Use your information. Everything is there. If you have one major point for each person, then you can discuss together whether things make sense or not, and later you're going to try and see if it really does. Challenge, challenge, challenge. Writing out your discussion graph enables a better view and gives precise directions. The problem with most people and most discussion and argument, it is an argument, because they're not precise and there's no support. You disagree with nothing. You need to do that. So make research materially efficient, which means if you take your key words that you had from your first outline, your keywords, and you search on the internet for this topic, who pays for it? Who pays for extreme sports rescue? You will find lots of information. Look for your arguments. Find out where they are. If you are just looking for kayaking, it's going to be too big. Look for specific information, specific vocabulary words, specific arguments. If you find an argument, cut and paste and find other papers or websites about that specific thing. Then that's called material efficient, because then you're not looking just randomly. You are choosing specifically from the title. The title gives you the answer you want. And from the title, you look for the argument, and if your argument is there, you copy and paste the URL, make a reference somewhere so you know where it is, and you can go back quickly. So here is the graph. Risky adventures are on the rise and should pay for any rescue or emergency. Very basic. Agree, disagree. Write a disagreement. A disagreement would be risky adventures are on the rise and should be funded by the taxpayer. Or risky adventures should be banned. On the rise? I disagree they're on the rise. It costs too much money. So you're seeing fewer people doing it. Maybe that's true. Risk is the fun of the adventure and should be rescued like any other emergency. Risk in sports is a great idea. How can you refute that? How can you oppose that? So you make an opposition to that. Adventure without risk? It'd be boring. But maybe the risk is too much. Adventure is nice, but the risk of the adventure needs to be considered. What about life without risk? Means death will come early. If you don't risk, will you die early? Make an opposing viewpoint to that. That's Team B. Respond against this statement. And then Team A, respond against Team B's response. So you need more than just the first argument. You need to have support for other ideas. You want to think about more ideas that support your first one. Write it out, talk about it, and like you have 3 here, risk, adventures, risk is the fun, life without risk. Okay, risk is the key word here. Now you want 2 more or 1 more, depending on how big your team is. This week you have made a graphic to connect your arguments. You added more information to communicate your arguments through rebuttals or through opposition, opposing arguments. And then you've come back with another opposing argument. That's the way we build this debate, and so we have to start thinking about it. You've begun to practice thinking for the debate, which is really practice. You have to think different, speak different, and you have to really expand your mind. Do you really feel ready? Probably not yet. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Come to the next video, video 7, and see how to get to the next step.